The U.S. military is the largest in the world, with over 1 million people and billions of dollars in weapons. Housing, training, and sustaining such a large operation requires huge military bases around the world and in the United States itself. Here are the largest military bases by surface area you can find in the country today. Military bases are facilities owned by the military and where the armed forces can store personnel, equipment, weapons, and more. Large military bases have many different purposes, including training, shelter, and strategic planning. Military bases are usually massive because they have to house plenty of soldiers and weapons. They're large enough to function as independent cities. Some even have their own zip codes. In this video, we will examine the 10 largest military bases of the USA. Fort Wainwright. Fort Wainwright is a massive military installation located in the heart of Alaska, where everything is truly larger than life. Covering a staggering 1,406 square miles, this base is a vital training area for the U.S. Army and is specifically designed to prepare personnel for Arctic operations. Within its vast boundaries, Fort Wainwright includes the main post, extensive ranges, and extensive military maneuver areas. It covers a vast territory of 900,000 acres, offering a challenging environment to develop the skills required for Arctic conditions. Home to approximately 15,000 people year-round, mostly Army personnel and their families. Fort Wainwright is not just a base, it's a community. Naval Air Weapons Station. China. Lake Naval Air Weapons Station. China Lake consists of two parts: the China Lake area and the Randsburg Lake Wash area. Together they form Naval Air Weapons Station China Lake, which covers 1 million acres and is the largest property owned by the Navy. This base is located on China Lake, a dry lake in California. The Navy uses it mostly to test weapons and develop new, advanced technology. Most of the base is used for weapons testing, so not many people live here. Barry M Goldwater Range. The entire Barry M Goldwater Range spans 1.9 million acres in the Sonoran Desert in Arizona near the Mexican border. Sometimes rank lists divide the range into two parts: Goldwater West, run by the Marine Corps, and Goldwater East, run by the Air Force. Even though it has a very large surface area, there are not many personnel in the range, which prevents it from moving up the rankings. Fort Benning. Fort Benning is huge, but it's not one of the largest bases in the country in terms of surface area, covering only 130,000 acres. The base is large enough to span two states, Georgia and Alabama. However, it is one of the largest military bases in the country in terms of population. Fort Benning is home to more than 100,000 military personnel, staff, and family members. The fort is operated by the Army as a basic training center and home base for combat-ready troops. If you have watched military movies, you may have seen Fort Benning as it is a popular movie set. Fort Bliss. It is at the top of the list of largest military bases in terms of both area and population. Counting all training facilities, Fort Bliss spans approximately 1.12 million acres, mostly in Texas and extending into New Mexico. It is home to approximately 100,000 military personnel and their families. Fort Bliss is one of the oldest Army forts in the West, established in 1848. World-famous Army Rangers train here and the 1st Armored Division is based here. Joint Base Lewis McCord. Joint Base Lewis McCord is one of the few military bases that all branches can use as a base. It is jointly operated by the Army and Air Force. Joint Base Lewis McCord is large in terms of surface area. It covers over 647 square miles, divided between western Washington and Yakima. Its total population is about 110,000 people, including active duty military personnel, family members, and staff. This base is interesting because of its shared ownership. Fort Hood. Fort Hood in Texas is one of the largest bases in the country in terms of population. About 217,000 people call Fort Hood home, including military personnel, civilian contractors, and their families. The surface area of Fort Hood is nothing to sneeze at either. This Army base covers around 214,000 and is at 968 acres. The Army established it during World War II to test tank destroyers, and it still uses the space to test large weapons. It may not be the largest, but Fort Hood is one of the most famous bases in the country because it was where celebrities such as Elvis Presley did their military training. Fort Campbell. Fort Campbell in the southeastern United States is a veritable mini-city. It is home to 234,900 people, including about 29,000 active personnel. The fort sprawls across the Tennessee-Kentucky state border and covers over 105,000 acres. Most of this space is taken up by maneuver spaces and training facilities for the Army. However, the fort also needs enough facilities to support its considerable civilian population, so some of its surface area is dedicated to creature comforts such as a mall, schools, and even a bowling area. White Sands Missile Range. White Sands Missile Range is the nation's largest surface testing range and the largest military base in terms of surface area. It covers a whopping 3,200 square miles of desert in southern New Mexico. Most of the land is used for testing missiles, so White Sands is very sparsely populated. A little more than 1,000 active duty personnel and employees call this place home. The Army owns and operates White Sands, but NASA also uses this facility to train pilots. Fort Bragg. Fort Bragg is the largest U.S. military base in terms of population. About 111 people live on the fort, including about 50,000 active duty personnel. The Army owns Fort Bragg, which covers about 251 square miles and 2 zip codes in North Carolina. The fort serves as the base for many of the Army's operations, including hosting the Forces Command, operating 2 airfields, and training personnel. Fort Bragg is somewhat controversial because it is named after a Confederate general. We come to the end of our video. If you like military videos with such war technologies, do not forget subscribe. See you.